Welcome to Biceps and Banter with expert trainer Brandon Crow. Hold on to your dumbbells and get ready for this conversational style podcast focused on interesting, everyday drivel with tasty tidbits of health-related information sprinkled in. Enjoy.
Welcome to a special edition of Biceps and Banter. This is going to be the first episode in a series called In 5 Minutes or Less. This first episode is my biggest tip for your first fast in 5 minutes or less. The premise behind the series is that when I'm not out there doing interviews, I'm going to be developing a piece of educational content that is going to be short and sweet, direct to the point, and give you everything you need to know, or at least touch on my biggest takeaways related to a certain subject. In this particular episode, I wanted to talk to you about something that's gaining a lot of popularity, especially in the last 6 to 12 months, which is intermittent fasting. Likely, if you're listening to this podcast, you know something about intermittent fasting, or you know somebody who's doing intermittent fasting. But like most people, you might not know the entirety of the subject, and I am by no means an expert on this. I just can speak by my personal experience. So first, let's talk about what is intermittent fasting. In a nutshell, intermittent fasting is a period of eating and not eating. The most typical intermittent fast is 16 hours of not eating and then followed up with an 8-hour eating window. When you're doing the 16 hours of not eating, you can have things like black coffee or tea or water. During your eating window, typically this gives you enough time for 2, maybe 3 meals. So let's put some numbers on that. You could do an intermittent fast where your eating window is in between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. and the rest of the time you're just having coffee, tea, water. I've noticed a few benefits for myself personally. I have much better focus and clarity. I have more sustained energy throughout the day. My mental performance actually seems better. I seem more focused and organized. Not only that, but I'm probably at my leanest non-show weight that I've ever been. I've been doing an intermittent fast where I have roughly 4 or 8 hour eating window and 16 to 20 hours of not eating. Now here comes my biggest tip for somebody that may be interested in trying some kind of intermittent fast. The most important thing is to realize that nothing's written in stone. Likely you won't be perfect right off the bat, and that's okay. I actually find some wiggle room important. If you're too set on the outcome and a specific set of rules, 9 times out of 10, I find those type of diets very unsustainable. The important thing is to listen to yourself and not deprive yourself or feel like you're depriving yourself. Everything, whether it be your training, nutrition, everything is individual. So what works for me might not work for you, might not work for somebody else. Try a few things and see what works best for you. With all the benefits, you would think I'd be recommending intermittent fasting to everybody, but the truth of the matter is that it's not for everybody. You have to listen to you and your body. Everybody's individual. What I would say to anybody interested in trying it out, first see your physician, make sure that they have no problems with it, and then maybe try it out for 7 to 10 days. But give it a really good shot for 7 to 10 days. And if it's not for you, no big deal, just try something else because that's what it's all about. So the take-home message, my biggest tip for your first fast is realize that it's not going to be perfect. There are no set in stone rules. But as long as you're giving it your best efforts, that's all you can hope for. And sometimes that's better than the alternative. It gives you a little bit more leeway and takes that pressure off. So I hope you enjoyed that episode of Biceps and Banter. The series is going to be called In 5 Minutes or Less. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes, write me a review. It really helps me jump up in the rankings. And I'll be coming at you next week with an interview with Noah Schwartz. And we're going to be discussing, yep, you guessed it, intermittent fasting. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to Biceps and Banter with Brandon Crow. If you like our show, do us a huge subscribe, toss a review on iTunes, or maybe share the show with your friends. And if you want to know more, find us at fastingftw.com. Our Patreon is patreon.com/fastingftw.